put your thumb drive in there, and we can look at your,
No, we can't do that.
We can't put them right. They're all on.
That's what she told us, we're not allowed to put anything in
oh, you know what? They're in it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Right. All right, that's good.
That's new.
she was
Yeah.
very,
Specific.
yes, with me particularly.
She should have been specific with me, she told me. Needless to say, you're up there on that,
Yeah.
2 Heritage Hill Road. As I started to say, when you come up, please make sure you're speaking into the microphone. If you need for any reason to get up, please take the microphone with you so we can make sure that we continue the audio as it's being recorded. Okay. As we normally do, we start with continuations, revisions, and anything else before new matters. When we get on to new matters, we will be taking new matters in ascending order. So the first new matter will be 129 Main Street and the sign. At this point, we're talking ARB 21-53, 2 Heritage Hill Road addition.
Good evening, Pat Steinstadter from Gotham Design, working on this project with Laura Wakefield. What we're looking at is something I almost got in trouble when I mentioned it when we were last before you, almost exactly to the day, a year ago. We're talking about the garage, the positioning of the garage, and they've also proposed some changes to the garage. When we were initially, when we submitted, let's see if I have that in here. Hopefully she included that. Yeah, this is the plan that we showed you a year ago, which had the garage rotated over closer to the house. There was an interest in a tree that's up in the front there that we were trying to save. It's already been designated as on its way out, and the person who's maintaining the trees on the property, noting that we were going to be hammering out the rock around that area, made it very clear that that tree would not survive. We then discussed it with the building inspector, and one of the things that Irvington seems very clear at wanting to do is reduce rock removal when you can do so. So that's what led us to do some investigative exploring around the very close to that same location, but rotating the garage so that it's straightened out here, which moves it down the hill a little bit and significantly out of the rock that we uncovered. We actually removed all the dirt where the garage was going to be, and the rock is close to grade. Just that slight shift puts us down the rock about 6 feet lower. So we're going to still need to remove some rock, but a fraction of what we were going to have before. When we were last here, there was the feeling that we would be improving the sense of the existing house if we moved the garage a little bit further away. So I think this is something that should be good from that standpoint. But we also have changes that we proposed to the design itself. Again, I'll go down to what we had before. And that is this, very straightforward, kind of a long sloping roof anticipating solar, which is not on the agenda for tonight. Two-car garage with a space that's above it that's going to be used for the gardens and activities that they're doing in the yard. This is what we had before. Just if you can remember that this line comes all the way down. This is fairly large blank facing the yard and no porch over the entrance. So what we've proposed the change to be is building a shed roof in this section of it, duplicating the windows that are on the front of the house in the master bedroom. On that side, still 2 cars, extending the roof down because we still hope eventually to get solar. It's proving more challenging than we thought in terms of just getting the companies lined up. So we've maintained the area of roof that we need by building a skirt roof here that comes down, which I think actually is nice with a couple of brackets to soften the appearance of the front with the garage doors. And we've added a little porch, kind of a garden porch, if you will, on the back of the house, back of the garage, that walks directly out to where the gardens are now, and they're going to be expanded. So if all the materials are staying the same as what we had before, they're all matching the existing house. which is in construction right now. They've gotten, the first floor basically is all framed up. They're framing the second floor now. And we're hoping that that's all going to be pretty well wrapped up by the end of August, which is really wishful thinking.
Can you remind us, because it was such a while ago,
Yep.
which is the public-facing elevation? And I know that it's going to be screened, and we talked a lot about that months and months
Right.
ago, but which elevation?
Well, the side that the public facing, it's kind of an odd thing because in that location, we don't have any street. What I would think is the public interest is people walking along the trail going past Marshall's Pond. And that's this side here. So you'll be able to look, it's a distance, but you'd be able to see this from the walkway to Marshall's Pond. I think having it feel like it's less a big shed thing with lots of solar on it, having this be something that's got windows, particularly that repeat the windows that are on the house, I think that just makes this a softer.
The walkway is well below that.
It is, but it's, to get to the walkway, you're pretty much coming down Bob Riley's driveway, and Bob's his son's driveway now, when you're walking down that way, you'll be able to look and see this. Anything that's in that front yard, people will be able to see, and there's a remarkable number of people who enjoy that whole strip.
So the new feature that's being added, though, is the dormers and the windows, which last time you were before us, the public, we had commented that you were trying to keep it as streamlined and simple as possible.
Yep.
But now they will be seeing that.
That's correct.
What's the roofing material on the shed?
It's asphalt shingles matching the existing house. It's like an architectural shingle. Again, I always get myself in trouble because I'm skipping to the next conversation, so I won't start talking about Tesla shingles and stuff like that, because we'll have to come back to you anyway to talk about that. The Tesla tiles. But at this point, the idea is the roofing would all match.
Is there an entranceway similar to that on the house itself that has columns as well?
Well, the whole front entrance is a series of columns.
And do they match these columns?
These columns are smaller than those. Those are 8-inch. These are 6-inch.
But again, as far as the top Doric?
The very clean, simple detailing on this is exactly the same. It's got a little kind of arched cut there in the corner. So that's exactly what we have. That's duplicating what's on the front of the house.
That was my concern.
And tell me again, so the windows are being added for what purpose for the homeowner?
They're going to have a usable space above the garage.
To do what?
The people who own the house are very active in the outside world in terms of literally the outside stuff. The work they're doing on their property is amazing, with restoring the original indigenous materials and getting rid of everything that was invasive. And I think the picture is that this would be the garden house, the folly that you'd be able to go out to and sit in and when you're doing gardening and hang out. We're compliant with all the coverages and all of those kinds of things. And I think it's more fun having this be something that's got a use to it. Particularly how this sits in the property, kind of nestled into that hillside, which is kind of fun.
I personally don't have a strong feeling in terms of the change. I do want to note for the record, though, that we are at a disadvantage because our architect, Ken, is not present tonight. I know
Yeah.
he had a very strong feeling and had many suggestions that he gave you in reference to this.
Which
I
I wrote them down, and I was expecting him also to be here and say, yeah, I'm really appreciative that you listened to what I said, but I can't speak for him.
So in fairness, my question to you is, do you think they are in keeping with what he has suggested
Yeah,
last time?
I think the main thing he thought was that we were positioning the building really negatively given the existing house. So I think we've done exactly what he talked with that. I think he was thinking that it should look more like it's an outbuilding that's tied to the original.
Actually, you're right. You're right, he did ask for
Yeah.
it to be offset in this manner,
Yeah.
that I recall. Questions, Jim?
No.
You're all good?
Okay.
Okay. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My wife's going to assume the meeting is canceled. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay, the next will be ARV, we now go into new matters, ARV 21-54, 129 Main Street, sign.
Good evening.
Good evening. Could you just clear that out, put yours up, if you don't mind? on top of the center.
My name is Stephen Shimberry. I am representing my wife, Sydney Page, in the matter of a sign for the Next Page Salon, which we are in the process of permitting. How do I do this? And my two, hopefully, continued well-behaved children, right? Ezra and Ollie. This is all boring stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm so sorry.
I don't know whether they added the new part of it, the actual sign itself, or the lettering and colors. The month, additional information, and you sent it. Yeah, it takes-
Yeah, I sent it to Sarah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw the revised, it was,
So just a reminder, here's the building, sorry for the
Yep.
bad picture. There's two big trees in front, so it's hard to get one straight on. But we're speaking of this area right here. Okay, that would be the front entrance.
The new information, I guess if you scroll down, might have it. It has it. There you go. Keep going. There you go.
All right, so this is the front elevation. We really wrestled with the sign, the logo, and the size of it. We really wanted to respect. We love the building, the look, the whitewashed brick. My wife fell in love with it from the very beginning. She's the talent, and I'm just the mouthpiece here. I'm not very good at it. So we went through several rounds of revisions for the logo many times to really just, I don't want to use the word feminize it, but it was very angular to begin with, and it was actually 8 feet. Now we're looking at 6 feet by 36 inches, which is well within the, it's 18 square feet, well within the 120 square feet allowed.
If you keep going, it also shows.
what's the color?
Yeah, that's what it shows if you keep going.
It's exactly like you see. The background will be white.
Okay.
It's a 3/4 inch composite material called Sintra. The contractor will be Signs Inc. in Yorktown. The lettering, the black lettering is a 1/4 inch, also composite. That's adhered with a very high performance double stick tape. The sign itself will be adhered with concrete anchors in the mortar joints, not in the brick,
Right.
every 2 feet. Oh, here's the reply.
Yeah.
So you're asking for the background and the color, and then here's the sign, a bigger logo. So the letters are very modest, 5 inches, 7 inches. Here you have the scissor. We didn't want to do anything like, we do arms and this and color. My wife's talent speaks for itself, and we kind of just have that one.
We prefer less is more
Yeah.
in these signs, so
Mhm.
I think we did a good job with that.
And I assume that the building architect, and building owner has already signed off on this.
Yes,
Done it.
she's the signed affidavit with the permit.
Great,
She's all.
great. And so how you're attaching it to this historic building has also been approved. Okay, great.
She's
Is there
approved.
any lighting? Are there up lighting, down lighting?
We're not lighting it
No,
at all.
At all? Okay.
In fact, I don't want any shine to it. We're very low-key. If it were up to me, I don't even want a sign, but you need a sign with a fence, right?
That's
So that's it. I mean, it's kind of very straightforward.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any questions for me.
It's nice.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
So move.
All in favor?
Aye.
Best of luck.
Thank you
very
Good luck,
much.
Sydney.
Good luck.
I hope to see you around.
Okay. Moving on, we have ARB 21-55, 97 Highland Lane.
Douglas McClure, the architect for the Fremers at 97 Highland Lane. We are doing a kitchen renovation on the interior, essentially opening up the space to make one larger kitchen. And at the same time, they wanted to replace the existing 3 windows in the kitchen and the window in the family room, which are older and need to be replaced. They're replacing them with the same kind of window by Marvin. And then 2 sliding doors at the location of existing sliding doors. And the one difference there, which is a little unusual, is they wanted divided lights, which Field Point is approving now. You can't have divided light windows, but you can have divided light doors. I have a picture here of one Field Point if you want to see it. The colors match the existing windows, and the sizes and functions are exactly the same.
So we know from the paperwork that Field Point has already approved it.
Field Point has already signed off on it, yes.
And I did question early on whether the new windows match the existing, and you
Yes, they do.
alluded to the fact that they do.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody? Questions?
Nope.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay.
And now, still here.
Okay. We will go on to ARB 21-56, 7 Dogwood Lane, also windows.
Well, so again, Douglas McClure, the architect for the Fanfurlos at 7 Dogwood Lane. This also is a large renovation of the interior. We are knocking out this very small kitchen and this dining room area, and we are moving the kitchen into the dining and family room and turning the existing kitchen into sort of a family room space. As a result, we are removing an existing window by the sink where the kitchen was, so we can put a fireplace there, and putting in 2 new windows on either side of it. And then there's an existing window facing south which is this window here. And since we're going to have a sink along that wall, we're making that window smaller in height and moving it along the wall. So you can see here the new window location there. The window is a casement window, double casement. It matches all the windows match the colors of the existing windows throughout the house. They're all non-divided lights. The windows on either side of the fireplace are also casement windows, and they match the height of the window we were removing, so it's consistent with the style of window that's been used on the house previously.
Is that all who's being done?
That's all where the windows are being removed, we're replacing it with siding. The siding is texture 111. We're replacing it with the same, patching it, and painting it to match.
Okay. Questions? No? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much. Have a lovely
Yeah.
evening.
Almost painless, huh?
Almost.
Almost. Yeah? No. Okay. We're now at 21-57, 9 Hudson Road East, also windows.
Hello, I'm Lawrence Borges. I'm the architect on the project.
Wait.
We are renovating walk-in closet and 2 bathrooms. There currently is, well, this is the exterior, I'll show you. Currently, this is the walk-in closet, this is one of the bathrooms, this is the other bathroom. This part of the house is the original part of the house. Everything else is various additions to the house. These are all windows within the original existing frame. what we are proposing to do is to,
Maybe a bit view, maybe upper left, yeah, view.
Oh.
Yeah, it should be a little something.
Rotate.
Yeah, take it. Counterclockwise.
okay. So this is the drawing. We want to take these windows out. We want to slightly move the windows and change the configuration a little bit, raise the sill, make them a little bit wider, and put a single window in the walk-in closet. Because we raised the sill, we wanted to eliminate the meeting bar of a double hung, so we made these awning windows. The centers are fixed. The awnings are a little bit more energy efficient for infiltration compared to the double hungs, and also the removal of the screens on the interior is a little bit easier for the client. And we thought that we would match the lights of the windows, of what windows that do have lights. And that's basically it. The trim and the color of the siding will be match the existing.
Is that all that's being done, is just windows?
Yes.
Questions, anyone?
Can you go back to the current view of the house?
The what?
The picture of the house for a second? Just want to see the original windows.
Now you turned it.
Oh, okay, so it is 6/6. It looked over 6/1, but I can see it's faded out.
Really?
It's a screen.
Right? Yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're not divided now.
No, you're talking about that.
The original is 6/6.
This one
It
over here,
looked- Yeah,
screen
it's a screen. Yep.
obscuring it. There's no divides in these windows here or down here.
At least we'll get the second floor the same.
Yeah.
Yes.
Questions? Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Okay. Moving on to 21-58, 196 Riverview Road, exterior elevation change.
Good evening.
How you doing?
For the record, my name is Sam Vieira. I'm the project architect. Mr. and Mrs. Tolman are here this evening if you have any questions for them. Sorry, where am I here?
Right to the right of that one that's highlighted.
There you
Yeah,
go.
the one right there.
There you go.
There you go. Double click on it.
There you go. So effectively, we're before you for approvals for a modification renovation to the front elevation of the existing house. Right now, the house is clad in vertical cedar siding, which has a solid gray stain throughout, and where you see the two smaller windows next to the blue door is one continuous line of windows, uninterrupted. What has happened over the years is there's been some damage due to the wood structure being close to grade. So we have to perform some structural repairs, and while we're going to disassemble that wall to rebuild it, the clients have requested to change the window configuration so that the two bottom windows on the main level match the two top windows. So as you can see, they all, excuse me?
Symmetrical is good?
Symmetrical, right. Symmetrical, same exact size. At the time that this submission was handed in, the other change introducing a horizontal element, which is a bit of an overhang. Now, the level that is shown as horizontal cedar siding which is part of the proposed change, there's about a 24-inch overhang from the upper level to the lower level. So what we're doing is that we are increasing that overhang with a architectural element that comes out another 2 feet. It'll be solid above the blue door, therefore creating a roof to protect the entryway, which it does not have now. And then as you come across, we maintain the same line, but it's open where the windows are, so that we have a continuity in the architectural element, but we're allowing sunlight to reach those windows on the lower level. Now, the windows presently are a sort of Duranotic finish, and they're all sliders. The intent here is that at the very least, the windows on the front elevation will all be changed to a Marvin window, which will have the same exact profile and the same exact color as what's there, except it's a higher grade, higher quality window. And again, as I stated earlier, the 2 lower windows will be different and new to match the upper windows. Since this submission, the owners are requesting a change also. They'd like to do the entire house that you see now as delineated as the existing gray siding, for the siding to be restained with a solid stain in this dark color. We are still maintaining a clear coat on horizontal cedar. We have a sample, but everybody kind of knows what cedar is. It's not going to take any stain. It'll just have a preservative on top of it. So effectively, what you are viewing now as gray will be stained dark with this color, which I have the specification if you need. And that's it, essentially. That's the project.
Do you have black trim on all the windows?
So-
Stain?
Right, it's a dark Duranotic. It's not exactly black, it's that sort of very dark brown. Every manufacturer has a different color for it, but it is that very, very dark color. That's not exactly black, but it's almost a Duranotic.
Okay, is that change in the drawings? That change, the black?
No, Mr. Chairman, no.
Okay, well, I will then, if it's to be approved, I will then approve it conditionally based on that.
Of course.
Questions, Joe? Okay, I will make a motion to conditionally approve the application. The gray, what is the material of the gray?
The gray is vertical cedar siding.
Mr. Chairman. And that is? That's the proposed color. I understand that, that's just not here with
The specifications on the back.
where's the file? Yeah, I got the file. Okay, I will make a motion to approve conditionally with the gray areas, vertical cedar siding to become Blackberry by Benjamin Moore, item number 2119-20. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
You need part of that sample back?
Yeah, you can have it.
All right, thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you.
We're doing an arraignment in here.
Yeah.
Speakers, do you need it?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I forgot. I apologize. Sorry, everyone. We don't want to be arraigned. No, you don't. Thank you, sorry, guys.
I gave you more in mind of you than
Sure.
appearing before.
Thank you.
It's about to get real interesting in a minute. Okay, moving along, we are now up to ARB 21-59, 54 Butterwood Road West. Another exterior elevation change.
Hi, good evening. I apologize, I'm not an architect like
It's all right.
went before us. What we are proposing to do is we have currently, let me see if the photos are in here. Just want to show you the existing home.
Are you the homeowner?
I am the homeowner, I apologize. I am the homeowner.
Don't apologize.
I don't own the home. My wife and I own the home. I know better. Okay, this is the existing home. It's actually, it's a little bit older photo. It is vertical cedar siding, original to the home. So we propose to remove and replace the siding. We've already have a permit separately granted a couple weeks ago to replace the roof. The roof is leaking, the skylights are leaking. The cedar siding is rotting basically all over, including the eaves, the soffits, everywhere. So to remove and replace the siding, and as well as to remove the windows, we are, and you can see also, I guess I put some other photos in here at the end. Yeah, so you can see, if you look at the existing home, just to see this rot. You can see along the soffits, we have gutters falling off and such. And we propose and the windows are all metal framed, original to the home, don't really open very well, if at all, and have no screens, and they are sliders. So we propose to replace, the house will be, all the siding will be removed, the house will be rewrapped with Tyvek and re-insulated, and then to replace it with hardy board, cement hardy board. Proposing to do it in horizontal instead of vertical orientation, because that was what was recommended to us as the best way to do that. And to replace the windows, the drawings are in here, I'm sorry, with mostly double hung windows except for two smaller windows in the rear of the home, which are in the, okay, so this is the rear of the home, that's the front of the home. The windows will all be double hung. There will be no dividers, so they will still be similar in appearance, although they'll be double hung. They will be white framed, and to match the AZEK trim that they will put on the edge of the hardy board on each corner and around each window, as well as the soffits and whatever you call that piece of wood that goes along the fascia board. Thank you, correct. And the size is not, or shape of any of the windows is not changing. And I think that's it. The color will be, it's now a brown, it will be a dark gray, and the windows will be white.
Okay, the vertical hardy board color?
That color right there, that gray, night gray. Which is, if I think I attached some photos, I apologize, I just did what I do on my laptop at home. To send, these are my neighbors' homes. On that side, it's completely very different. But most of, there's a wide array of orientations in the neighborhood, horizontal, diagonal. I actually think my house is currently structured as dated in comparison to most of the houses around me. Most of the houses have what we're proposing to do, the white framed windows, and certainly a cleaner. That's very similar to, not with the shutters, but very similar to what we would be doing.
Can you go back to the very first page?
Sure.
And hit the plus sign up above.
Sure.
I'm trying to read what the, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. You wanted to, yeah.
I just want to know what this, see if the description of work has any, you gotta go over to the. You described everything. Anybody questions?
Is there a window schedule on the drawings?
Yes, it shows the wind, yeah.
How many windows in total are you replacing?
I apologize not being, I think it's about 25 windows, something along those lines. I'm sure it's on, the drawings do talk about all the windows.
Okay, and I just didn't see a total count that I wanted to make a note of, just.
Sure.
It's okay, I can, 25 is sufficient. And any doors being replaced?
No, there's no plan right now, probably just painting the front door. to match.
And you said the skylights are part of the other application?
They're part of the other application. I think they actually listed on this application, those are not being changed, they're being replaced with exactly what we have. Just ones that hopefully don't leak.
And any lighting changes?
No, just, I think we have a couple, there's one light, he's gonna remove and put them back in the same, he may put a very similar of the identical, they're just 30 years old, but no change of any substance. Okay, so there's a lot of pictures in here. Now, maybe I should shrink that down again if you want to. And then, he drew the staircase incorrectly, he didn't, it's there's 3 steps there, and it'll remain 3 steps.
Any questions? No? No. Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Thank you. Okay. Move to ARB 21-60, 26 Barney Park.
Good evening. My name is Ron Hoyna. I'm the architect for Mateus and Julie Braun at 26 Barney Park. And we're here this evening for the front entrance portico. We were here a couple of months ago when we were considering changing this piece. We came in for windows and roof. They have since decided to keep it with one exception. We would like to remove the doubled up columns. These are rotted really completely through and they're sort of inappropriate. We'd just like to take those out. Everything will stay materially the same, color-wise the same, and we'll reconstruct it to be just the 2 posts.
Okay.
Yeah, can you remind us, so, again, this is an application we saw
Yep.
months ago. So you're tackling the front portico because it's in disrepair?
Yeah.
That it has to be rebuilt?
No, we're not, I'm sorry, I should be clear. Only the columns are in disrepair. We're keeping the roof structure, we're keeping the entire top piece as is, not touching it.
The trim, everything?
Everything stays. These columns took water to the bases, and they are in really bad condition at the bottoms. So the 2 that are closest to the building are coming out, and the 2 that are forward, we're going to just replace in kind.
Okay.
Everything else stays. It's just
Okay.
the columns that we're replacing.
And can you remind us why your client wanted to remove the 2 columns? Just in terms of aesthetics?
Yeah, just because it feels a little tight when you come out on that. It's a very small little porch, and you've got 4 columns that sort of almost feel like walls.
Are the columns structural members that are?
They're supporting just a little, the tiny canopy, but.
So there's nothing from a mechanical engineer standpoint that says
No, structurally.
this 2 is going to handle?
No, well, we'll confirm structurally that there are no issues. When we take these out, we'll confirm how this element is connected back to the building, and we'll either Simpson Strong tie it back together. We'll make sure that it.
We were reminded, since the last time you were here, the historical significance of this house and the fact that we're kind of glad that we didn't kind of allow
The curve.
the beginning, the
Yes.
curvature, because that would have totally.
It would have changed the look, the entire look. I'm glad we're keeping it the way it is too, so.
We are as well.
Yeah. Do you know if your clients realize there's historic significance
Yes, they
to the
do.
house? They do.
They've been collecting photos of the original, yeah,
Okay.
they are.
Because we were advised by the Historical Society since we saw you last that it was built in the 18th century, just for the record, and was referred to as the Jewel Farmhouse. And it does have historic character. It was originally a wooden
Yeah.
from its original location
Yep.
in 1895.
Yeah.
So there is a lot of importance attached to the house, both by whom owned it as well as.
We're keeping as much of this
So-
intact as is humanly possible.
All right, because I would like you to impress that upon
Yes,
your
I will,
client.
absolutely.
Okay. As far as removal of the second column, we did ask if there are any original photos of the house, and unfortunately, we were not given any, so I can't argue
I don't
to
think
keep
there
the
are.
second column, because
Yeah.
I don't know if it was original. And if you're telling me it's in disrepair, I can't.
I can-
The conscious ask you to rebuild it, not knowing if it's
Right.
original to when it was
I
designed.
could tell you that the pieces that are rotted are definitely not original. It's modern wood. It's spliced together. It's not. They were probably replaced 35 years ago, 40 years ago.
Probably why it didn't last.
Yeah, they would have lasted the other way.
I guess the question though is, what were there 4 columns originally?
I don't have any reference point, so I don't know.
You look at the original pictures, they do show it, and they were really like on top of each other. Look, it appeared from this.
This is like a solid wall when you see it, yeah.
So with all that in mind, again, since we don't know when those columns were placed, I personally don't have an objection to it, but I do appreciate that the homeowners know
Yeah,
the historic significance
they are
of the
well
house.
aware, yes.
Any other questions? No. Anybody? Okay. I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second?
All in favor?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we move on to ARB 21-61, 115 South Broadway. Fence?
Yes, hi. I'm Chris Brady. I own the house with my wife.
That's it, you're at.
Oh,
Right on.
That's a north.
Oh, is it?
Probably labeled wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, yeah, we had an old white wooden picket fence. It was there when we moved in 12 years ago. It's taken the brunt of a lot of weather, and it's been crumbling, and so we're replacing it with vinyl. Same places where it was before, and with,
One of the things that I had asked 2 weeks ago was, we need to see some fencing examples of the fences, the gates, and the arbor.
yeah, I submitted those
You
to
did, you did.
Sarah. I don't know if
You
they're-
keep going, you'll get to it.
Okay. There we go, okay.
I would go up, start at the beginning of that.
Sure. Okay, no.
Okay, yep. Yeah. So that's the,
No, so this is, actually, I gotta change it. So when I first submitted it, we had accidentally circled the one that was a little too close together. So there should be, okay, no, here it is, okay. So there's the picket.
okay.
It does say corrected.
Yeah. That is the most recent. So it's just, we picked the vinyl version of what we had in wood originally.
Could you go to where this is going to be on the property?
Yep. There. Would you? Oh, sorry. Too far? No? There?
Well, that's showing where the fence is, but I think on the,
Okay, on the,
yeah,
there we go.
on the survey.
If I can rotate. Sorry, if I can rotate, I will.
View.
Yep. Always turn the wrong way.
Now you have to do it twice.
Yep.
Okay. So, can you see the wood picket fence from Broadway on the other?
Here
Yes.
and here, yes. And it's going in the same place that it was before.
So the old broken down picket fence is what, in the pictures that you have, is what it's replacing?
Yes.
I think it's fine, no gate.
The gate there were gates here, and we're replacing those with
Gates to match, you do
gates
actually.
to match.
Yeah, you do actually have pictures of, and the arbor, where's the arbor going?
Arbor is going right here over the sidewalk. replacing an existing arbor that's only being held up by the roots.
All right, could you go down to the cut sheets that show the gates in the arbor?
Sure.
No,
Oh, sorry.
it's all right. Do that all the time.
Do you think that picture depicts
No,
what
I
it is?
got it.
Yeah,
You
it
think
does.
that's-
Yeah, there's actually two poles actually in between.
There's 3 single gates.
I always do it.
Okay. That's the gate.
The gate, yeah,
Oh, you passed the gate, yeah.
yeah.
That's the gate. It looks
Yeah.
just like the,
Oh,
up further. Yeah, right there.
okay.
Looks just like the thicket. And the arbor,
Would be this one.
it's all nice actually facing the back.
And we're going to, our contractor's going to try to fit it in under the existing flora that's there. We might have to cut some back, but there's already, it's a healthy, it's a healthy arbor.
So there's an opening there now.
There's an opening there now, and the only reason we're replacing the arbor is that the arbor itself no longer is structurally sound. Everything that's grown through it is...
Considerably larger than the other arbor?
No,
Same.
same. They're just gonna take the old one out and put one in underneath and kind of keep whatever's there woven through.
So just for my notes, so I have 3 single gates and how wide are the gates? So no,
I don't know. No.
right there. And it's how tall?
The arbor?
No, the
Oh, 4 foot.
4 foot? 4 foot.
4 foot sounds right.
That's what I remember. Anybody else have any questions? Okay. I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
You got it, thank you.
Okay, well,
You too. Okay, ARB 21-6241 North Broadway, fence also?
Hi,
No.
I'm Jessica. That's my husband Justin. We're the homeowners. So we are looking to put a fence in around the property. So this is just the quote that we got from the fencing company who came to do an estimate. So it's a black aluminum fence, 3 matching gates, and I'll show you where those go, 4x5, 4x3, and 4x4. It's the same exact like fence design as the actual fence, like the gates are going to look the same, which is why they didn't send another cut sheet for those specifically, but this is what it will look like.
When I saw that, the original, application, that's why I asked for a brochure, a clear, color brochure of the actual fencing.
Yeah, is that, so these were examples from their website. This was like all that I could find from their site. It's basically this. So I don't know if that helps at all to answer
It
your
helped me
question.
better
Okay.
understand what it is that's going on.
Cool, yeah, so it's just that, this is the property. Let me zoom in a little for you. Yeah, here you go. So this side is the aqueduct, so we know that it has to be at least 30 feet back from there. So it will be, there's going to be one gate here, or we would like to have a gate here just for ease of being able to walk from the house over to the aqueduct. There is a chain link fence that already exists here, so we're hoping to just connect it to that fence, have it run along the aqueduct, and then once it hits, this is an easement, so once it hits that, just have the fence kind of run up, and then over here, there's like a teeny tiny walkway, so we just want to have a little gate there to be able to walk into the yard from the driveway. It will connect to the house, and then on this side, same thing, just so if you park on this side of the driveway, you can just use this gate to be able to enter.
And what does D represent? We got ABC, those are gates, what's D?
D was just so that when, I think, let me zoom out a lot. It's just another piece of the fence. It was just so that you knew where the fence was. Oh, I marked it so that, that's what I did. Sorry, I made this a couple weeks ago. To show you guys down here, just a picture of what that side would look like. So this is the easement. The fence would go kind of just right here up against it.
So, I have you're the homeowner?
Yeah,
Oh,
me and my husband, yeah.
Congratulations. on
Thanks,
that.
we just moved in like a
Just
month
moved
ago,
in,
yeah.
yes. Can you go back to this, just the survey or the location of where the fence is gonna be?
Yeah.
First question I had, which I assume, is that you're not within the aqueduct buffer. So you've discussed this with the building department, 30 feet back.
Correct.
That addresses that issue, correct? You have, is that chain link fence that runs along Matheson Road, is that your fence as well?
No.
Yeah. Who owns that?
I think it's the person who lives at the bottom of the hill. It's Alana's sister, I think, person who we moved in.
I don't know her name. Lewis is the last name, I think.
No, I think Fitzpatrick.
Oh.
It's the person who lives at all the way down on Matheson.
Oh.
That's what someone told us. It's not our fence.
Maybe Esposito, I'm not sure, but
Yeah.
I was just curious as to why you're not running a fence yourself to connect to the fence.
Yeah, we
along.
don't know the
We don't
fence.
own that
You can
fence.
see, I think our property line is right inside of the chain link fence.
Okay. It's right where?
Inside of the chain.
Right on like the very inside of the
I can
fence.
see the color change, the blue line.
Yeah,
Blue
exactly.
is our property line, and so you can see that
I
we're.
see.
Yeah, so it is gonna like, just so it connects here.
Uh-huh.
So actually, looks like they're actually on your property.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a little unusual, because you are gonna wanna connect it, maybe you're not gonna be able to go up flush against it, but I guess we'll leave that to the building department to
Yeah.
decide how you do that, but, if it's not your fence and that property line does look a little funny, I just wanted to raise that issue.
Yeah, I
But with
totally
that
agree.
in mind, where's the gate? That's really what I was wondering.
So
So
the-
again, it will be right where the stream is?
So it would be to the side of the street. It's like pretty wet over here, so it
Yes.
wouldn't be like on where it's wet. It would be over. There's like little stones that kind of run over here, so it
Right.
would just be like above where the stones are, so that you
Right.
could just walk directly from the
Okay.
yard
The
out.
stones probably help the water get into the
Yeah.
ground, away from the mud.
And then
Yeah.
the prior owner had landscaped a little along the aqueduct buffer, so will the behind or in front of that landscape?
It'll have to be behind it in order to have that 30 feet. So the landscaping and the trees are actually going to be on the outside of the fence on the aqueduct
Too,
side.
for those on the aqueduct as well, okay.
Yeah.
And then if you just take me back to the schematic again, so
Sure.
then when you're on your easement along, the right of way rather, what type of vegetation is there?
That is a mix of different types of trees that the previous homeowners built, and
The fence is gonna be inside of the trees though, so there's like
Yeah, that's
trees
true.
are gonna be all outside of the fence.
I did have a picture of them.
So that too is fairly well screened and obviously no vegetation being removed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all gonna stay. This is what it looks like now. There's some trees here, and then there's like, I think some of these are boxwoods, and then there's some other like smaller things that they planted, but the fence is gonna go on the inside, so nothing's gonna be taken out.
Okay. I did walk it today and I was looking to make sure that the fence, other examples of the fence, and I
Yep.
saw them further down. towards
Further down.
Tarrytown. Unfortunately, there's still a lot of the chain link fences.
This
remaining.
is the one right across the aqueduct.
Exactly. So I thought you did a good job trying to match that. The only difference between the existing fences and the one you're putting in is there's a lot of vegetation around the other ones, obviously, because they've been there longer. So to the extent that's something we could encourage you to do, I think that's the
We would,
the aqueduct.
yeah, we
and-
really want to do that just for like
Right.
privacy and it
Right.
just looking better, but
Right.
just because we just moved here and we have a dog, the fence was like the #1 priority for
I
us,
can
but
imagine.
yeah, we
you're pretty
definitely,
exposed there, so it's understandable. But if you're, since you're new to the area, I'm sure you've seen, but the idea
Yeah,
of the
I-
aqueduct is try to conceal those fences as much as
totally,
possible.
yeah, that's the goal.
Okay, yeah, great. It's a wonderful property, so best of luck.
Thanks.
Great.
Okay, gentlemen? Anything else? Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, item application 21-63, 21 North Dutcher Street, also fence.
Hello, good evening. Hi, I'm Keith Goodman. I'm the homeowner. We're looking to build a fence around our backyard to keep the kids in and the dog as well. Let's see.
Tell the truth, and you want the deer to keep out.
Yes, I mean, I don't think the fence we're building will keep them out, but it would be a nice perk.
Certainly don't want to make it easier.
So this is my property. I live on North Dutcher Street. Right now, I'm proposing to close in just the backyard. The property butts up against a privacy fence in the back and a line of very tall trees. And then there's going to be a small section of new fence that's going to go from the concrete block garage back to that tree line. And then this over here is my driveway. I just want to do a fence with a gate right across here that is pretty far from the main street. You won't really see it unless you're turning around in my driveway, which everyone does anyway. On the other side, this blue line that's running up and down here is actually replacing a little 2-foot tall wire fence that was there when we moved in. It was not very safe and not very attractive. So my neighbors actually asked me if they could remove it, and we said we didn't have a problem with that. So they did. And we're going to put a gate right over here at the front of my second driveway, actually. And that's going to be behind these two big shrubs that are over there with the gate going across the middle. We're doing a black aluminum fence. And I had a material sample down here. It was this one over here. And the gates look exactly the same as the rest of the fencing.
Yeah, and I had questioned whether the gates were different from the fencing, and you indicated during the month that they were exactly the same.
Yes, they are.
How high is the fence?
The fence,
It said on the,
it said, so right now, we have it listed as 5 feet. We actually think would prefer 4, but we're told that fencing material is very hard to acquire right now, and we were told that a 5-foot sample will arrive much faster than a 4.
Because I am a little concerned about the height. I mean, I think it's great.
We are as well.
Sorry?
We are as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's great that you push the fence back, and it's really tasteful in that it's not sitting right on North Dutcher. But in walking up and down North Dutcher, 5-foot high fence, visible 5-foot high fence in the front is not in keeping with the rest of the fences that are there, from what I can tell. If you like the 4-foot fence higher as well, I hate to just go with 5 feet for the sake of the material not being in stock. Do you have any sense if it's possible to do?
Yes, I think 4 feet is possible, and at this point, I think we've missed the summer, so I think we're very amenable to 4 feet.
Okay, I mean, personally, I think it would be more in keeping with North Dutcher if you kept it 4, especially for the parts that are going to be somewhat visible from the front.
Okay.
But otherwise, I think it looks nice, and I'm sorry people turn around in your driveway.
That's okay, we don't have a problem with it. It's just the only time people will see the fence, really.
Exactly.
We have some quite big shrubs out front.
Exactly.
okay.
Yeah, I agree with you on the 4 feet.
Okay.
Okay, so I will make a motion to approve the application as amended, changing the height of the fence from 5 feet to 4 feet. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. See the light at the end of the tunnel. We are now going to ARB 21-64, 34 Riverview Road, also fence.
30 Riverview Road? Sorry.
30, what did I say?
I heard that.
Yeah, it's 30, you're wrong. I wrote 30, I should have said 30.
No.
House, it's fine. Hi, everybody. My name's Steve Gardner, along with my wife Emma. We're the homeowners at 30 Riverview Road. I'm going to scroll down there so you can see. So to orient yourselves, this is the property that's just south of the easement of the walkway to the high school on Riverview Road, which we love.
South.
Just south of the, so the walkway is here, if you can see where I'm motioning. So hopefully a simple one. Existing along this border here, along the easement and along the eastern boundary of our property, which abuts the school, is a 6-foot tongue and groove wooden green fence.
Is it down right now?
Yeah, it's completely destroyed. Was destroyed last summer with the storms and has taken us this long to sort of arrange to fix it. So what we are proposing is just to identically replace the fence along the northern and the eastern border. So again, it will be a 6-foot tongue and groove wooden dark green fence. It will run inside sort of the chain link fence that I believe the school maintains or the town maintains. But really, absolutely no change is the goal. The only place where we're trying to make some small change is along the southern border, which right now is a smaller, maybe a 4-foot, a little bit inside of 4, maybe 3.5 feet white picket fence, which has also really sustained serious damage since we moved in 3 years ago. We'd like to make that portion of the fence identical to the green tongue and groove wooden fence. Frankly, we never really liked the mismatch. We think the green fence is more attractive and a stronger sort of fence. There's some grade issues between us and our neighbor, and the white picket fence sort of leans, and we've been told by our contractor, Steve King at New Mat Fencing, that it's much easier to sort of maintain a wooden fence. There are 2 gates. The gates are sort of, if you can see where I'm indicating, here and here. We're not proposing to change those, so those would stay white picket, so a very small portion of the fence would remain white picket. And we believe actually that our current gates are salvageable, so the plan, I think one of the reasons there hasn't been a submission of a gate photograph is because we're planning to keep the gate. If it isn't salvageable, it will look exactly like this white picket here. Sorry, scrolling. Yeah, this is the closest probably, but there now, so it's not really a change either.
So show me where that is again?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure. So right here is a gate, and then right here, which sort of enters into the house. This is into the mud room of the house.
So that is the only part that has that white picket?
Well, so right now, that's where the 2 white picket gates are. Right now, this portion of the fence is white picket, and that we would propose be replaced with the wooden tongue group along the border here.
But you're going to leave the pickets on the
Correct.
gates on?
Correct.
Questions? Okay, I will make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks very much.
Okay, we are now on to 21-65, 57 Sunnyside Place. Also a fence, the last fence of the night. No. Okay, I will call that once again after we finish. And then moving on to 21-66, 10 Hancock Place. Pool.
James Scott, Studio Park, representing the owner, Richard Pasco.
So my question during the month was, has the ZBA approved this? And you forwarded the
Yes.
letter of approval from the ZBA?
Correct.
I just want you to go through the fencing part of it, at least initially. I mean, present the pool and everything else, but
Sure.
I just had some concerns about the fencing.
Sure. So we've gone through the process of ZBA and planning and received coverage approval to do the pool and also make some changes to fences associated to said pool. The existing property already has a chain link fence along the aqueduct. It has a white rail fence, for lack of a better term, with a middle rail. That's one thing we need to tweak. And then we're proposing a alternate fence in the interior of the yard that probably can't be seen by anybody but the homeowner. The property itself is on the aqueduct and faces the aqueduct buffer. So just to orient you a little bit. So this is, here's the aqueduct, right? So this is an existing interior. Let me go to the front just to orient you to the aqueduct as well. So you can see on the aqueduct, there's already a 5-foot green chain link fence, pretty heavily planted already. We thought that this fence was 4 feet, so we were going to propose to bring it up to the 5-foot Irvington code, but we found in further studies that it's already 5 feet. So in all actuality, we probably don't have to change it unless something happens to be in disrepair. We asked for approval for it just in case. The fence that is along the public way on Hancock Place is this picket fence that you see. This is existing to remain and is kind of the bulk of the backyard of the property on the back of the house. The only reason why we're changing this is that this medium rail is a climbing hazard. So at the pool portion of the fence itself, we want to the entirety of the fence on the whole property. Now the property itself is, this side of Hancock falls off approximately 10, 11 feet from the aqueduct itself or from the backyard. Sorry, this is panning. So you can see here out on the street, it's like elevation 142. And up on the property, it's elevation 152. So we're pretty high up when you're at the street, and it's pretty far back to begin with. So at this section of pool, right here, so what we're talking about is, see where it says altered wood fence from here to the corner? What we're proposing is taking that wooden painted fence and filling it in with a tongue and groove so that it's flush. So essentially the look is the same, but we don't have that meeting rail anymore, rather than like replacing it everywhere. So that area would be flush painted wood, essentially looking the same. On the interior, there's the chain link fence I already said. There's already an existing wrought iron for some decorative railings at the house itself. We're proposing that the pool fence on the interior is that to match of the house. Now that'll never be seen by the public. And that is, just to show you where that is just on the interior here. So you can see from the corner of that white fence back to our aqueduct fence. Now by recommendation of the ZBA and the planning board, we're adding heavy skip laurel plantings on the interior, so it's evergreen year round. So essentially there's a green wall on the aqueduct and on the interior. And everywhere else, the existing fence remains as is. And that's essentially the proposal. I mean, there's some, obviously the pool itself is being viewed as well, but this is all subterranean, bluestone to match existing, some minor tweaks to landscape and hardscape here that we've proposed as well, but overall, this really can't be seen. And we hope for your approval for the fencing itself. The pool equipment is, oh, you can see it right here. See this? It's behind that white fence.
Okay.
On the interior of that, right behind where we were just talking about.
And obviously the hardware on the gate?
Yeah, everything is being switched over to pool compliant as needed. So essentially, I've got a gate here on the interior you can't see, and there's an existing gate that we're retrofitting on that same side. So.
Lighting?
No lighting at this time. The only thing that's proposed is there's two in-pool lights right now. Nothing else at grade or anything proposed at this time. So just the thing that can be mostly seen is, these fencing types. So that's I guess the issue, if anything, at hand.
You answered my questions. Anybody else?
That's cool.
No? Okay. We'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you very much.
Yep. And now to the Jewel of Irvington. ARB 21 days.
Drum roll, please.
21-67, 67 North Broadway, Villa de Waro petition.
purchase.
Say the best for last.
Right. I'm Steve Tilley, and this is Cece Cabetta, the preservation specialist in our office. And we're here representing the owner of 67 North Broadway, Bill Luaro. And we're rebuilding the pergola that existed, as best we can determine, in 1918, the original pergola. Unfortunately, when we arrived on the scene 3 years ago, the first thing we really had to do, really the second thing we had to do, was remove perilously teetering outriggers on this pergola that were leaning out over the aqueduct, and so those were turrets in motion. And so we took all those down, and it looked like hell ever since. You know, these columns. This was done in 2008, so it's hard to believe that it went south so quickly. Fiberglass columns that were filled with concrete and started splitting, you know, like at the britches. Really, really awful, and very poorly cast balusters and top rails. So all of this, unfortunately, is going away, and we're building it for the duration. So CC has done a lot of research on. We have a couple of photographs, an aerial photograph, and then a photograph from a 1927 movie that was shot right in the pool, and with a still that looking at the pergola towards the aqueduct. And so we've been able to reconstruct that arrangement from those photographs. The drawings of the original house are lost. It was designed by theoretically the first registered African-American architect in New York State, and Gardner Woodson Tandy, who was a Tuskegee grad and then a Cornell grad, and was one of the 7 founders of one of the national African-American fraternities at Cornell. So he's venerated, but can't for the life of us find the drawings. So keep looking around and, you know, imagining that somebody will get word, and, you know, and probably when we finish the project, we'll get the drawings will show up, and then we'll figure out what we did wrong. But anyway, we will be removing, labeling, and stockpiling the flagstones to the side. We actually will have to remove and heal in the privet hedge. Privet's easy to repair or replace if it doesn't survive. That originally existed. The material is from a company called Corinthian. CC investigated a number of different suppliers of cast stone columns and balustrades. So this is cast stone that we'll be using. And this will be embedded in a reinforced concrete slab, and so that everything is tied in, and we'll be here for the duration. Now, we don't intend to come back in 12 years and have to do this again. There's actually the tube that you see at the top, which is right here, is a stainless steel tube that will actually performs a circular an arc, and then comes back and connects. And that, again, is to prevent, it's got a slight pitch at the top, so that prevents any It both accomplishes the structural continuity, it will be painted to look just like the wood members. The wood members, we're getting recycled southern yellow pine out of warehouses in Manhattan, and that'll be stained, everything white. And Cece's done this wonderful cutaway drawing that shows the construction sort of with the roof, which was originally, must have been red lead tin with red lead, but we're doing it with raw copper so that we don't have to deal with tin, and it's, which probably disappeared in the first 20 years of the process.
Yeah.
But, so that's, kind of anything that I've missed. It's got a lot of sort of rich depth of structure, and everything on this property, with a few exceptions, are governed by an easement that's held by the National Trust for Historic Preservation. So we've had to vet this preliminary way before we bring it to you with them, and we've received their approval for this. So we're kind of happy that after removing asbestos and safing off roofs and kind of trying to deal with entropy, that we're finally able to do this first visible piece in a highly visible place along the aqueduct. So
I think it's going, from the aqueduct, it's gonna look amazing.
yeah,
I can't wait to see it.
yeah. Well, I can't.
How long do you expect it to take to build?
Well, we'd like to get it in, but unfortunately, what the production,
Material.
supply chains are like right now. So these guys, it's not like wood from the Northwest, it's cast stone, but the plants are very slow. So we're gonna order this right away, and then we'll see what the lead time is. I don't know, Cece, do you know what lead time is from Corinthian?
Corinthian cast stone members, components is about 3 months.
So that means we're kind of up against the winter. We got to pour concrete. So we'll see. With any luck, we'll get maybe get our slab in and some footings, and we'll see what the weather's like.
That's very exciting. And then what's the phase after this? What's in store?
The phase after this is to do the terrace. So that we have a full outdoor, we can recreate that amazing photograph of all the people on the back steps, because we're not letting people, we're not letting more than 20 people at a time on that terrace. We've removed the asbestos and mold from underneath the terrace, because that terrace has been leaking for 100 years. So
What's under it?
there actually was a laundry. There's an amazing, there are all these state-of-the-art domestic infrastructure there, like this amazing pull-out dryer, big heavy steel things that pull out, and an amazing ironing board that, just really very cool ironing board. And the building, the house has galvanized built-in vacuum, vacuum system from 1918. Swear to God, it had also a vacuum steam system, which the HVAC geeks love. We're not going to recreate that, but the vacuum will keep the vacuum paraphernalia for both that system and the HVAC system, the steam system, in place, even though we'll probably go to new infrastructure. And the other thing that's still there is the blower from her organ, and the organ was amazing. It's just infrastructure all through the basement with leather conductive, electrical connections, and that sent a message from the keyboard through the basement activated the blower and sent the message back up to the pipes that are in a room between the dining room and the music room. Now, it's kind of phenomenal place.
No expense spared.
Yeah. We didn't, we did a 3D scan of the building, and then, we kept saying, what's that void? And it was, and when we were able to crawl in through a grill, it's full of pipes, it's a pipe organ. So, and she was very, very much into that process. Yeah, so the terrace, once we do the pergola, then we'll move back to the terrace, and we'll actually have to take off. We'll be back there. We're going to be dismantling completely the balustrade, and then the tiles that actually aren't original. And Cece's done a lot of research on finding from Ludovici a texture that matches our original brick texture. And then overnight they remove unfortunately that roof that was put on under those tiles is also asbestos, so they tinted, and overnight they remove all that asbestos, and then we look at the structural slab from the top. Now we've been able to look at it from the bottom now that we've removed the interior, and then we'll put everything back together.
Anybody, any other
You're
questions?
certainly the right firm for the job.
Well, we're happy to be there, actually. It's a really interesting job.
That is exciting.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody additional? Okay, I'll make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
And good luck. I can't wait to see it.
Neither can we.
Okay, we'll make one more poll, even though I know we don't have to. ARB 2165, Eastside Sunnyside Place. I know they're not making a presentation, but did you get a chance to look at what they're doing? It's all, no one's gonna see it.
It's just one straight run.
Well, there's one share and then there's three little ones, but they're still all,
Right.
nobody's gonna see any of it.
Right.
Anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. Any additional questions, concerns? I think we will be getting another,
Chris?
Yeah. We will have another alternate at the next meeting, and hopefully maybe hearing about another member in the future, but we will,
Is the alternate an architect?
no. But it's an alternate, which we need at this point.
Yeah. I think tonight's meeting, we were fine without an architect. There's just some
Yeah.
applications I would actually have to tell you in
Right.
advance if I felt uncomfortable.
No problem, okay.
What did we do with that? Well, I mean, there was a few questions I just looked at why, because they're not, trained as architects, the language.
Well, from time to time, we've had meetings without Ken here, and we've handled them. There's other issues that have to be discussed, but not tonight. Okay? All right. Do we make a motion to adjourn?
So-
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, Rick.